Michael Garcia, the chair of the Hispanic Vote. We're here celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and I have the great pleasure of having the mayor of North Florida, Anna Ziade, here with us. She is the first Hispanic female mayor in the city of North Lauderdale. She's also probably the first Hispanic mayor in the county, from my knowledge. So we have the pleasure of having her here. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month by recognizing our Hispanic elected officials and community leaders, talking about the good things they're doing in the community. So we want to thank the mayor for coming. And most of this is really so we can highlight our Hispanic people, because no one else is doing it, so we need to do it ourselves. So Mayor, thank you. I know your background, but please tell the people a little bit about your background.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I am Cuban American. My parents are from Cuba. They were born there, as were my brother and sister. My sister came through the Catholic Church, then my brother and mother followed, and my father came the following year in 1961. There is a big age difference, as I mentioned, that between my siblings and myself. I'm the accident. I was born in the United States.
La americana, la gringa.
La americana.
So Mayor, you are the first female mayor in the city of North Lauderdale.
Yes.
You and Commissioner Bustamante are the first Hispanic elected officials in the city of North Lauderdale. You both came in. And I think, from my knowledge, I think you're the first Hispanic mayor in the county of Broward County. That's my understanding.
That's the rumor I'm hearing.
That's my understanding as well. You told us a little bit about your background. Tell us a little bit about. So I asked, as you met Commissioner Hernandez, what is your favorite Hispanic dish?
Oh my goodness, there are so many. But my mother made the most incredible carne asada.
Okay. Can you please tell people what carne asada in English?
Carne asada is I guess it's not a stew. It's a Latin roast beef, I guess, with lots of onions. There's potatoes. We eat it with rice, of course. We eat everything with rice, and beans on the side.
And beans.
So yes, that was my favorite dish that my mother made. One dish that I do get outside in restaurants is oxtails, and it's funny because Jamaicans make oxtails.
That's more of a Caribbean thing.
A little different
yeah.
Than what I grew up with oxtails, and it's interesting because as a child, I didn't know what oxtails were until I really thought about it and was told
you were just eating it. You're just eating it.
So my children, I did the same thing with my children. I told them that it was short ribs, and for the longest time they love oxtails, not knowing what it was. But yeah.
When your parents moved, did they come to Florida, or where did they come? Because Commissioner Castillo from Pembroke Pines, his family moved to the Northeast. Commissioner Hernandez, when his parents first left Cuba, they went to Spain, and then they came to Florida.
Right.
What was your parents?
So once everybody gathered in South Florida, it was actually through the Episcopalian Church that my family moved to California. The church helped them move out to California. They lived in Burbank, Van Nuys. And that's actually where I was born. So I'm technically a Valley girl. So we lived there until I was about 6, but all of our family has always been in South Florida. And because of that connection, we moved back here, and I actually started school here. So, yes.
So now I know 2 Cubans from California, because shout out to Jerry Sanchez. Jerry's one of our former members, and Jerry's really big because he grew up in California.
Okay.
So now, so South Florida, when you came, was it Miami, Broward?
Broward County.
Okay, so you came just like Peter. Peter came straight to Broward County.
Yes. So I grew up in going Broward County schools, public schools, in what's now known as Oakland Park is where I grew up.
Okay. Okay. Tell us a little bit about the difference growing up in Broward County back then and now with the Hispanic community and the diversity, the difference.
Well, the difference that I noticed right away as a child growing up in Broward County was that we went to Miami every weekend for everything. For grocery shopping, to see all the family. But what I noticed right off the bat was that barely anyone spoke English where we went. And when they did, they had very heavy accents. Whereas myself and my siblings never had that accent.
Okay.
My parents did,
Okay.
but my parents also spoke English.
Okay.
So that's the main difference that I noticed, but what I did notice in Broward County was that we were very limited in numbers. I had Cuban friends, you know, I grew up, I had my quinces, I was the first one, I was part of the Cuban club out of Pompano. We did the comparsas. I actually was in the Orange Bowl parade and a Gallo Ocho parade.
Okay.
So, you know, my parents, despite the fact that we were Broward County and not so much, you know, they still made sure that we were connected culturally wise and our roots never changed. So, and it's funny because even Broward County, really the only Cuban bakery and grocery store was on Davie Boulevard, which is Santa Barbara grocery store, and Sunshine Bakery, which I'm sure has changed hands since then. So, but
now,
it's now
it's,
oh my goodness, it's everywhere. I've got a Sedano's in North Lauderdale.
Oh, you got
How amazing is that? You know, and we have Broward Meat and Fish, but they're owned by the Lujo family that are Cuban.
Okay.
So, you know, it's
a big
times have changed.
Times have changed.
Yes.
North Lauderdale. Not a lot of people know where it's at.
No.
Tell us where it's at geographically, how many people you have, and breakdown.
So we are just over 5 miles in radius. We are located to the east of Tamarack, to the south of Margate, to the north of Lauderdale Lakes, Lauderhill area, and just to the west of us would be Fort Lauderdale, Oakland Park, but that would be further west. So we actually butt up against the executive airport. So if you need a landmark, that type of thing. But yes, little known area. But I've lived there 30 years. It was the first home we bought. We have a population. Last census was about 43,000, and we are pushing for it to go above the 50,000 mark, so that we could then be that city that receives funds directly.
Okay.
Right now we don't,
Okay.
and we have to rely on the county for a lot of funds. So we're out there pushing it. Actually, we've got events this weekend that I was at yesterday.
And pushing the count,
The count, absolutely.
Right? The count.
Everybody counts. Everybody counts.
So where do you stand? How do you feel with the count? Because look, I live in Cooper City, and I'm proud to say that Cooper City has the highest count rate for the census. I keep seeing it, and
Mayor Ross is very proud of
Yeah.
that and boasts about it every opportunity.
I think it's like in South Florida, it's like Cooper City and Parkland's pretty close too.
Right.
Where do you guys? What percentage? Where do you stand right now?
We're at about 62%. However, what I have come to find out is that percentage reflects solely the ones that people have done on their own without the assistance of
Your
the census workers,
Okay.
or what we're doing to have people come in and doing it on the iPads and laptops.
So you're hopeful that your number may go up then?
I do believe that. I really do believe that. We know our target areas, and that's where we're going the most, which is those areas that have islanders and Hispanic communities.
When is the count over? I know there's gonna be
It's literally within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
It's just that fast.
Okay. Breakdown. Hispanics, Black, Spanish, White. Blacks in your city.
So according to the census and voting and all of those calculations, the large makeup is African American. Now within the African American, they put in there the islanders, which we have a huge population, Jamaicans, Haitians, that type of thing.
Okay,
And then Hispanics
okay,
are actually, if we're gonna break it down to that, Hispanics are next,
okay.
followed by
White Caucasian,
white
okay.
Caucasian, yeah.
So you told us a little bit about growing up in a Hispanic, going to Miami,
Yes,
you know, going to
yes,
Miami all the
yes.
time. What are things you're trying to accomplish in the city right now?
I wanna be able to include everybody, and like I said, because we have that multicultural, group and areas in our city, a lot of them are undocumented, and now specifically with COVID and the CARES Act, undocumented, residents are not entitled to any funds.
Ooh.
So I'm trying to figure out how I can get funding to them, because they are the workers that work in the kitchens that are now gonna be opened in the hotel industry and hospitality in general, that have those jobs that maybe or maybe not, don't need all the papers required, but they're still contributing.
They're so contributing.
You know, and they need assistance, and you know, with schools, kids at home,
We're in phase 3 right now, so
Right,
so
right.
now
but
we're gonna.
the cultural difference is that our culture doesn't send our kids to daycare. Family takes care of kids.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, for Hispanics, yeah, that's
Yes.
that, yeah. And even the abuelito, they normally stay, you put them in the back, you don't send
Right.
them off to,
Exactly.
for the most part, not to a nursing home, for the
Right.
most part, they
Right.
you kinda stay home.
right, right.
Yeah, we don't throw, they don't get thrown
Well,
away.
it's not, well, I have to say, it's not a matter of throwing it away. I actually had my mother-in-law living with us for quite some time, but she has dementia.
It gets to a point that
It gets to a point that it's very difficult, so,
for
yes,
someone,
yes.
yes. So what else is going on in the city? Obviously, your dais is one of 4 maybe daises that is minority dominated, because you have you and Commissioner Bustamante, he's Mexican,
He
correct?
is Mexican, yes.
And then we have
Commissioner Borgelin is Haitian,
Haitian, and then African American
is Vice Mayor Wood.
Okay. So yours is a little bit unique. What else are you guys trying to do in the city?
It's just that, bringing back the community, you know, making sure that we, provide our residents with every means possible for our small city. So we obviously had started streaming our meetings prior to COVID, just as another means for our citizens to be involved. We're doing community outreach, sports, and other programs to involve the youth. Just this weekend, we had a group of scouts camping in Hampton Pines Park, which is which is the largest park in our city. But it's an amazing park, and you know, they have nature trails, we have boating in there, we have a huge lake, but we have this large area that is perfect for camping.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Exactly. So I reached out to a couple of the scouting programs that are in the area, because my son is a perfect example, was not into sports, but he needed that avenue of social. So he started within the public schools of North Lauderdale, as both my children attended, and got involved in scouting, and he eventually became an Eagle. So the program works. It's just another avenue for kids that otherwise.
Interaction.
But that wouldn't otherwise. Who goes camping?
Yeah.
You know,
I
and
mean,
things
down
like
here,
that.
camping down here is not a big thing, because we
Right.
don't have a lot of
Right.
land. What are the challenges you see for Hispanics in the county, in your city or in the county? I've had this question to the other 2 commissioners, and challenges that we're facing, unity-wise, or other things that are challenges.
The challenges would be just the sheer communication. You know, for the first time, we are translating everything that we do in not just Spanish, but obviously Creole. And that's key. County wasn't even doing that.
Okay.
So I'm the one that urged them to get for both their website and everything that they put out. So we take that an extra step of making sure that our residents, because we know our target area,
Okay,
we know our people,
okay.
so, yes.
On a broader scale for Hispanics in the county, what do you see as a challenge for us Hispanics moving forward? Because look, obviously, there is 170 to 180 elected officials outside of the judges, and 7 are only Hispanic.
Right.
7 are Hispanic,
Right.
which is only less than 5%. What's the challenges we need? And obviously, we're almost a third of the county's population.
Right.
What challenges do we meet, or what things we can do better as Hispanics to get those numbers a little bit higher?
I think we need that true unity, to boost each other and help each other.
Besides the language,
That
because
is-
the language is not
Right,
there's more than that.
But it's just that unity and being out there for everyone to see that they're not alone. Just because I don't have an accent doesn't mean that yo conozco mi gente.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I know, and I try and surround myself within my community and then get involved outside to bring into my community. So locally, I encourage anybody to run for commission, to run for mayor, to run for anything. You know, it's possible. I never envisioned this happening. I did run twice before,
Mhm.
and I did not win. But that didn't stop me. I've always been involved in my community.
Okay.
School, just get out there, and if you're not sure, reach out to somebody that is, because we all want, and you know, that's the Latin part of us.
Yeah.
Nos queremos todo, and we hug and kiss and all of that, and that's the
That
support.
COVID affects us a little
I
bit
know,
more.
I know, it really does, but it's that unity that we have, that outreach that we're willing to help, that we talk to each other like we've known each other all our lives.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, and so I urge anyone that has any interest to run for office, if you have questions, don't ever hesitate to contact any of us, because somos unidos.
Specific message to the young ladies, females,
Oh,
because so I'm just off the top of my head, Hispanic. You're the mayor, Commissioner Coburn, and Mary. I think that's the only 3 females, and Patty. Outside, and I always say this outside of judges because there's more judges, but that are just affecting the community on more of a grander scale than the judges, because the judges are just limited into what they do. But I think that's only 4 Hispanic women in the county.
when I speak at schools, I come up there and the last thing they expect is for me to the riki tiki.
Uh-huh.
So at all schools, I talk to them and try and mentor anyone that wants to speak. We do a government week in the city.
Mhm.
So those are even younger kids, to tell them that I'm the child of an immigrant.
Okay.
You know, that's, anything is possible. Anything truly is possible.
Mayor, we want to thank you for taking the time.
Ay, un placer.
I'm glad you're here. We want to highlight again the few elected officials that we have.
I appreciate it.
Because I think if we're not highlighting our own people, no one else gonna
Right.
do it. We thank you for coming out for Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you for taking the time on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
We wish you all the best, and you know we're always here to help out.
I know. I do. I know that.
Thank you.
Thank you.